The rain had been falling for hours, soaking the dry earth until it turned into thick, clinging mud. Beneath the rotted floorboards of an abandoned shed, something moved, a fragile, shaking form, nearly invisible against the shadows. Her name wasn't known. No tag, no collar. Just ribs pressing against torn skin, eyes half-closed from pain, and a belly hanging low with life. She was a mother, the kind that no one saw, the kind that was thrown out when she was no longer cute, left to fend for herself, pregnant, starving, and broken. But she hadn't given up. Not when the car hit her and shattered her hind leg. Not when the people in the house across the road turned away as she lay crying in the ditch. Not even when she dragged herself for miles, her body torn, her paws bloodied, just to return to that shed. Because inside that shed, nestled in a corner wrapped in old newspapers and leaves, were her babies. Tiny whimpers filled the air as she arrived, collapsing beside them with a soft grunt. She had no strength left. Her body shook with exhaustion. But her eyes searched the room. She needed food. Not for herself. For them. She looked at each of her 5 pups, licking their little faces, making sure they were still warm. Then, ignoring the pain that screamed through her bones, she pushed herself upright again. Her limp was worse now. Her back leg dragged uselessly behind her. But she didn't stop. The rain was heavier, the wind colder. Still, she crawled out of the shed and into the storm, because somewhere, somehow, there had to be scraps left behind. A trash can. A bone. Anything. And that's when Mia saw her. Driving home from her night shift at the local diner, Mia wasn't supposed to take that road. But a traffic jam on the main highway had forced her onto the rural path that passed the old fields and forgotten homes. She was tired. Her eyes were heavy. But then her headlights caught something strange. A dog, soaked and shivering, crawling along the roadside with one leg twisted unnaturally. Mia slammed the brakes. Her heart pounded. Oh my God! The dog stopped, head barely lifting, eyes locking with hers. There was something in that gaze. Not fear. Not even pain. Just urgency. A desperate plea. Mia stepped out into the rain, her sneakers immediately sinking into the mud. The dog didn't run. She couldn't. She simply let out a low whine and collapsed again. Carefully, Mia knelt beside her. Hey girl, what happened to you? She noticed then. Her teats were swollen. She'd given birth recently. Are your babies nearby? Mia asked softly. The dog let out another weak whimper and shifted her head toward the direction she came from. Mia didn't hesitate. She grabbed the old blanket from her car, gently wrapped the trembling dog, and placed her in the back seat. Then she followed the direction the dog had pointed. The road led her to the collapsed shed. The smell of mold and rot hung in the air. Mia hesitated only a second before stepping inside. Her breath caught. 5 tiny puppies, eyes barely open, huddled together in the dark corner. One of them let out a tiny bark, like a call for help. Mia scooped them up, one by one, placing them in the soft blanket with their mother. She didn't care about the wet seats or the smell. She drove straight to the emergency vet clinic. The doctor looked grim as he examined the mother. Shattered femur. Malnutrition. Infection setting in. If you hadn't found her tonight. Mia swallowed hard. Can she be saved? The vet paused. It'll take surgery. A lot of care. It's not going to be cheap. Mia looked at the dog, now sleeping with her pups curled against her. She looked peaceful, like she finally knew they were safe. I'll pay, Mia said. Do whatever it takes. Outside, the rain began to lighten. But inside the clinic, a storm of emotion still brewed. Uncertainty, fear, hope. Because what Mia didn't know was that the battle had only begun. And the mother, though safe for now, wasn't out of danger yet. To be continued. Mia didn't sleep that night. She sat in the clinic's waiting room, her hands wrapped tightly around a lukewarm coffee cup, eyes fixed on the surgery room doors. Every now and then, a soft whimper from the puppies stirred her to check on them, ensuring they were warm and safe in the basket lined with towels. Her phone buzzed with messages, her manager wondering why she hadn't returned after her shift, friends asking if she was okay. But Mia didn't answer. Her heart was somewhere else now. Hours passed. The sky outside turned from charcoal gray to the soft blush of morning. Finally, the vet stepped out, removing his gloves. He looked tired but hopeful. She made it, he said. We managed to repair the fracture. She's still weak, but she fought hard. Mia let out a breath she didn't realize she was holding. Can I see her? He nodded. In the recovery room, the mother dog lay on a clean blanket, her leg bandaged and secured. Her breathing was shallow but steady. When Mia entered, the dog opened her eyes just slightly. "Hey, warrior girl," Mia whispered, kneeling beside her. "You did it." The puppies, still wrapped in soft towels, began to squirm. Mia gently placed them beside their mother. One by one they found her, snuggling close, nursing eagerly. For the first time, the dog's tail gave the tiniest wag. The vet returned. "You'll need to keep her in a quiet, clean space for at least a few weeks. She'll need daily meds, proper food, and lots of rest." Mia didn't hesitate. "She's coming home with me." Back at Mia's apartment, she cleared the spare room, laying down blankets, soft bedding, and heating pads. It wasn't fancy, but it was safe. She named the mother dog Hope. It suited her. Hope didn't trust easily. At first, every movement made her flinch. When Mia reached to adjust her bandage, Hope would stare with wide, uncertain eyes, as if expecting pain. But Mia moved slowly, gently, speaking in soft tones. Over the days, something shifted. Hope began to raise her head when Mia entered. Her tail gave tiny thumps. She even let Mia stroke behind her ears. The puppies grew stronger. One was named Scout. He was the first to open his eyes and try to stand. Another, Lily, was the softest and loved to nap on Mia's lap. Each had their own tiny personality. Still, not everything was easy. One night, Hope suddenly began to cry, a deep, haunting whimper. Mia rushed in and found her shivering, teeth clenched. The leg was swelling. "Back to the vet." "Infection's fighting back," the doctor said. "We need to increase the antibiotics. It's a setback, but she's tough." Mia nodded, holding Hope's head gently. "We've come too far to stop now." She set up nightly alarms to give medicine. She took extra shifts to pay the mounting bills. Her friends told her she was crazy, pouring so much into a street dog. But Mia didn't care. Hope had dragged her broken body through rain and pain for her babies. The least Mia could do was fight for her now. A week later, Hope stood. Not for long, not without wobbling, but she stood. Mia was so overwhelmed, she cried right there on the floor, hugging her gently as the pups played beside them. It was working. Slowly, piece by piece, Hope was healing. But then came the letter. A notice from the apartment manager. "No pets allowed beyond 14 days. Please remove the animals or face eviction." Mia's hands trembled as she held the paper. She looked at Hope, curled around her puppies, finally sleeping without pain. How could she send them away? Where would they go? That night, as she stared at the paper, heart heavy, Hope limped over and laid her head in Mia's lap. As if to say, *, we've survived worse. Don't give up now, *. Mia took a deep breath. She wasn't going to let anyone tear this family apart. But the battle ahead was bigger than she expected. To be continued. Mia didn't sleep that night either. She sat with Hope nestled beside her, and the 5 puppies curled in a little ball of warmth, watching them breathe in peace. But inside, a storm raged. Rent was due, bills were piling up, and now the building management wanted them gone. But Mia wasn't the same woman she had been weeks ago. She picked up her phone and opened the camera app. With trembling hands, she began to record, capturing Hope limping proudly across the room, her pups tumbling behind her. Then she told their story. She uploaded the video with the title, "She Dragged Her Broken Body, Just to Feed Her Babies." She didn't expect what happened next. Within hours, views began pouring in. Hundreds, then thousands. By morning, it had reached 1 million. The comment section flooded with tears, love, and offers to help. "I'm crying. This mama is a warrior. Please set up a fundraiser. We want to donate. Tell your landlord to call me. I'll pay the rent." Mia set up a donation page. The goal was $2000 to cover the vet bills and find a better place to live. In 2 days, it crossed $50,000. Media outlets reached out. A local news station interviewed Mia in her apartment, filming Hope and her pups surrounded by toys and blankets. The landlord's tone changed overnight. "Of course, we didn't mean to evict you. Just a misunderstanding. You're doing something wonderful." Mia didn't argue. She smiled politely as she signed the lease for a small farmhouse just outside the city, with a yard, with space, with peace. Weeks turned to months. Hope's limp grew lighter, her eyes brighter. She no longer flinched when someone approached. She walked like a dog who knew she was safe. Each of the puppies was adopted into loving homes, except Lily, the smallest, who never left Mia's side. They became local heroes. Schools invited Mia to speak. Kids made drawings of hope. Animal shelters shared her story as a symbol of resilience. And for Mia, something inside her changed forever. She found her purpose, not in waiting tables, but in saving lives. She enrolled in animal rescue certification and started a small nonprofit called Hope's Road. Her first official rescue? A dog tied to a fence, abandoned just like Hope had been. One warm afternoon, Mia sat on the porch of her new farmhouse. Hope rested beside her, head on Mia's feet, and Lily played with a ball in the tall grass. A neighbor strolled by and called out, "You saved her life." Mia smiled, brushing her hand through Hope's fur. "No, she saved mine." There was something poetic in it all. How one broken dog crawling through mud and pain had changed so many lives. How she turned strangers into family, wounds into strength, and silence into voices that now echoed around the world. Hope had dragged her body through hell, just to feed her babies. And in doing so, she reminded the world of something we all forget too often. Even the most broken souls can be the strongest heroes. The end.